So one of his advisors tweeted Ice Cube thanking him for helping Trump with the Platinum Plan. Of course, this hit the Twitter streets, and everyone was outraged, and everyone started to attack Ice Cube. Ice Cube said nothing, and then Ice Cube sent out two tweets basically. One tweet saying that her tweet, and he kind of said I hate when celebrities or just people do this. They don't explain themselves, but they kind of say yeah, I was a part of it, but I'm leaving this open to discussion. When you can just literally go yes or no,
right?
That's it, and you can end all this, right? But his tweet, he said fact, and then he outlined. He was like, him and his team made the contract with Black America. They were approached by the Dems and the Republicans. He said that Joe Biden's camp said that they were going to address it after the election. Donald Trump's camp actually reached out and had a conversation with his team about the contract, and then they used some elements of the contract with Black America and put it into Trump's Platinum Plan. So of course everyone went into basically a hussy, and they were like, "Oh my God, Ice Cube sold out!" The guy who made "Fuck the Police" and No Vaseline. I can't believe this and that and everything. And there's a lot of reaction to it, but now Ice Cube is, who would have thought in this weird year, but it's been a weird year. Ice Cube is now public enemy number one for Black people, and now Black people do not like Ice Cube at all. And I'm gonna try to play devil's advocate on this, but I'm gonna get your opinion first. What do you think about Ice Cube essentially assisting Donald Trump with his plan for Black people?
Very stupid. Not because he tried to come with a plan and all that stuff. That's great that he was trying to get a plan in writing and all that crap.
Right.
But it's like he forgot you're dealing with the Trump campaign, which is they're known just to screw over anybody. Hey, we promised this. We'll write down this, but when it comes times two, nope. That's just gonna be out here. It's not guaranteed by any law. Because that's the thing. You can make all these plans you want, but unless it's a bill or a law that they have to implement,
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. And all that did was just get him a little bit more support.
Right.
That he, didn't need.
Right.
Or deserve.
Right.
And shit like that. And that's why it's stupid. But maybe there's some, to speculate and all that shit, maybe he's getting something out of it personally.
Or he got some guarantees, who knows?
Yeah, for him personally, and it's not really about the whole people and all that crap and all that stuff. I think it's stupid just based on the fact that Trump has a crazy track record of just screwing people over.
Right.
Over and over again. So, and again, it's like you said all the time, it's just he is not for Black people. No. How can you take the word of a white supremacist on Black issues?
Right.
And a platinum plan for Black people? It's just... It means nothing. It means nothing. All it did was just people that were on the fence. Oh, he has a plan for us? Cool. I'm going to vote for him now.
Right. And Ice Cube's second statement on it, which someone pretty much tweeted him and said, oh my God, I would have never expected Ice Cube to go to the dark side. And he, I'm paraphrasing because to me the tweet didn't mean much, but he was saying, the one thing that did stick out, he said that it's only the dark side for our people, and we need to start realizing that no matter who wins and everything, pretty much we have to start trying to make a plan to help us. And I got what he was saying, but it's not the right time.
Okay, based on kind of what I do know, wouldn't it be easier to help our people, Black people, with Joe Biden in office? More so than with Trump in office. It just seems like it's an easier fight with Joe Biden. He can't push back as much as what Trump did.
Right. I don't know, because Biden's track record is his track record as well. My thing with this is, one, they brought up the receipts. Of course, Ice Cube put out a tweet in 2016 basically saying like he would never vote for a motherfucker like Trump. I think that was his exact words in that tweet.
Right.
And now it's like, well, well, you kind of, but,
because it's sort of seen as endorsing Trump,
right?
Which is,
and that's the thing, which I think that he was trying to do by his statements. He was pretty much trying to be like, I'm not endorsing him. I'm trying to like help us. But it's like you're endorsing him because you helped him.
Yeah.
Like so.
You're endorsing him without actually saying I'm endorsing him, which
Right.
is fucking just stupid, man. I don't know why people keep falling for Trump's shit. Like it's been known his track record is, I like back when he was just a real estate developer or whatever, you know, riding the fucking coattails off his father's racist ass fucking
fortune.
He would like bring in people to fix shit or whatever to do shit, and then he wouldn't pay them, and then when he would, the people would go out like try to sue him. They'd be like, well, you could try, but it's going to be stuck in litigation. It's going to end up costing way more. You'll never see a dime of this fucking money. So it's just, it's the same thing. I don't see like why people keep believing him.
To play devil's advocate for a second, because we talked about this before when it comes to anytime we said the whole cancel culture thing means nothing, and I feel like we've been pretty
consistent with that.
Yeah, like we've been pretty consistent with that, and this to me was no different because when it came to people coming to the defense of Ice Cube, there was a lot of people, and there was a lot of basically people making the same statements as like Ice Cube has done so much for black people. We need to give him a chance to explain or let him. We need to figure out his plan or wait for his actual blah blah blah, and I understand that aspect of it too. But to now play devil's advocate, I just want to go over some quotes that were made by beloved black people in the last 4 years, right? To see, does Ice Cube have a point? So this was a couple weeks ago. Chris Rock, he got in a lot of trouble with this statement, but he said that the Democrats paid way too much attention to trying to impeach Trump instead of paying attention to the COVID-19 pandemic. Basically, if they would have been focused on that instead of trying to get Trump out, maybe they could have saved. We could have saved way more lives than whatever. So, of course, when he was told to explain and people were pissed off and everything, he said, if you know there's a kid running the White House, worrying about him being wrong should be the last thing on your mind. Which, I get what he's saying, because he's pretty much saying, hey, we know that this dude in power is an idiot. However, you trying to get the idiot out, and you know he's an idiot, it doesn't matter. It's your job as the adults to, all right, since the kid's in charge, we have to actually run the ship, because he's gonna crash it, which is what he's done, right? Dave Chappelle said this was the weekend that Trump got elected. So this was 4 years ago. Dave Chappelle pretty much went on SNL during his monologue and said that, and people seem to forget, he said that we should all give Trump a shot. And he was saying that if we can rally around Trump and keep ourselves civil and together, we have a chance to bring this country back and keep this country together, right? This was 4 years ago. Fast forward to today, right? And everything's a shithole.
Right.
But
he also did say, like, I don't know how long after that statement.
Right.
He was just like, yeah, we give him a chance and it's not working out.
Right. No.
So he was just like, yeah,
Right.
I'm not for him.
So the whole point of bringing up those statements were to be, do you think is it possible to be able to work with someone like a Trump? And it's not just him, because there's a bunch of people that are like him that we don't see.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that he's the face for all this. Do you think it's possible to work with someone as a Trump, as a minority, to actually see change? Or do you think that there's no way that any minority or anyone who is marginalized in this country can work with someone like him to think he's going to better our position?
The second one. There's no way any minority or anything can work with kind of a Trump. For multiple reasons. First one being straight up white supremacist. He said so in the last debate, pretty much, without actually saying it. And also, he's the type of person that it's not even about white supremacy. It's about him having power. Because fucking guaranteed, if it was just like, let's say this was just a white country,
right,
he would be screwing over white people just as much as he does minorities,
right,
and everything. It's just that, you need people on your side,
right.
so that's just the easiest way to get them, and the thing is, he wants a lot of power. Also, he's not even really in charge. He's being controlled by fucking people we don't even know the names of it. So to have someone like that, to think that someone like that could help you with change and make your life better for minorities and stuff like that, it's a far, far reach to me.
That was because, I'm a big Ice Cube fan. He's in my top 5 rappers. And yeah, of course, when this came out, I was like, what the hell is going on? And, but I also, want to stay true to everything that we've said on this podcast. Once again, Ice Cube is still, sadly, a celebrity. And I've said before, countless times, I don't give a fuck about what these people do or say because it has no effect on us, right? And that's the thing. When it comes to this and stuff like this, we have to realize that, and this is going to suck to say, but Ice Cube's life compared to my life, your life, and the lives of the people that Trump is affecting, right? They don't add up. They don't match up. So, from his perspective, I could see where he's like, oh, if I can just get some people in there, they can make the change and we could start the blah, 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 blah. However, from our perspective, we're like, okay, by the time you even get someone in there, right, let's just say Trump wins again next month. Just by the law, he has 4 more years, and then he's done, hopefully, if nothing changes.
Right, if it doesn't change the whole fucking term limit and shit like Putin did with the whole...
Right. So he has 4 more years and he's done. After that, we have to start rebuilding. However, in that 4 years, those 4 years are going to hurt us way more than it's going to hurt Ice Cube.
Yeah.
Right? And every time and I'm not comparing them, but I'm just throwing them in the same boat for right now. Every time there's an Ice Cube or a Terry Crews or a Tyler Perry or whatever, and they make these bold statements or whatever, right? Good or bad, I always look at it like, you can say that, and I get that you put in the work, and I get that you did this and that. However, you're speaking from a standpoint where you're the king of the hill. You're on top of the hill. It's hard to tell people at the bottom, listen to me at the top, but you don't have to go through what we have to go through at the bottom, right? And that's the biggest thing. Like, I could see where it's the same thing with the whole Jay-Z and the NFL thing. A lot of people were comparing them today. They were like, this is giving me Jay-Z NFL vibes, right? Jay-Z took a lot of heat for his whole NFL deal because he was pro Colin Kaepernick and all this stuff, and he signed a deal and everything. And they're like, oh, you're in bed with the whole organization that's blackballing this man who's trying to stand up for minorities and black people and blah, 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 blah. And he's like, okay, but you got to be in the building to make change. We've had that conversation countless times with the whole Spike and Eddie and things we've talked about before. And I look at it now and I'm like, they're saying that only from the perspective of their actual pockets. They're not saying that from the perspective of... I don't think Ice Cube at our age would have said that at our age. I don't think he would have been like, you know what? All I need to do... When he dissed Eazy-E and said, I'll never have dinner with the president because Eazy had dinner with fucking George H.W. Bush at that time.
Right.
He never said, like, oh, if I get there, I'm going to tell them everything that's wrong with black people and I'm going to blah, blah, blah. No, he was completely against it. However... when you're older, your interests and the things that you actually have to care for are a little different.
Right.
So with looking at an Ice Cube or a Jay-Z or whoever, every time they try to help, I feel like they don't realize that they're kind of hindering movements because a lot of people do look up to you, but they look up to you not from where you stand right now. They still revere Ice Cube because they think Ice Cube is still that dude in the White Sox hat from Boys in the Hood. He's not. They still think Jay-Z's the dude that you're going to see on the corner selling dope, but he's just super smart and he has all this money.
If he was still that way, he wouldn't be relevant today.
Exactly.
He wouldn't be no one.
Right.
He wouldn't know the name Ice Cube. He would have been like, oh, that guy that made that one popular song back in the
Right.
80s. That's all it would have been.
Right. And I realized that a lot of our communities, we idolize these like street figures because they make it. But then once they make it, we get mad that they made it. And this, like, I don't care about this whole contract with Black America, because when he made this, my whole thought process was, I think it's a little arrogant that you're trying to speak for all of Black people.
Right.
Right? Because, again, I get it. Yes, you're the dude from South Central and everything like that. I understand it. You can speak for Black people in poverty because you grew up that way. However, you ain't been broke for a while, bro. And it's like, you can't speak for all of us.